All right, so kind of timely to have you on. Yesterday, your stock it saw a big pop, shares up about 6.5%.
Yeah.
We were just talking to a guest just a short time ago. Have we seen the bottom when it comes to the tech trade? What do you attribute that big pop to? You didn't have any news. You didn't come out with anything. What do you think that was?
The volatility that we've been seeing in the stock, not just in our stock, but just about everybody in our sector, a lot of it seems to be related to the macro. There seems to be concerns around uncertainty with what's going on in terms of tariffs. And just given that environment, there seems to be a lot of trading on no news, like you said. But what we're really focused on is the growth in the business. We have a strong balance sheet this year. We are currently in our Q4. We've projected to have operating margins of 14.7%. And last quarter, our fiscal Q3, we grew our top line revenue by 17%. Our cloud business grew by 26%. And a lot of it was because of the momentum that we're seeing with generative AI and the kinds of really interesting applications that people are building to really drive efficiency, create better experiences for their customers. And that's what excites us, and that's what we're focused on.
All right, so Ash, you're talking about momentum when it comes to Gen AI. I want to talk to you about a moment that seemed to at least shift the momentum, the release of DeepSeek. It happened back on January the 27th. Once again, I'm just looking at the charts. Your stock's down about 7% since then. We've had some time to kind of digest what the release of DeepSeek is really mean. In your mind and what you're hearing from your customers, what's the biggest change when people are looking at AI infrastructure, their needs, and things like that?
DeepSeek represents two really interesting moments coming together. So first is just development in the AI space. And DeepSeek wasn't necessarily the first, but they were able to deliver this reasoning capability at a price, at a cost, based on the way they built the model and based on the training methods that they used at a much lower price point than anybody had seen before, which is a big unlock because prices, as they keep coming down, that's going to mean that more people, more use cases are going to leverage AI. And that's just going to create, just a halo effect for everybody. There's going to be just more applications being built. And you're going to see the deflationary effect that comes from more efficiency being built into all of these process automations that happen. The second big force is open source. DeepSeek is another great proof point of the wonderful value that open source can add to just about any technology trend. Elastic was born in open source. We're an open source company. Elasticsearch is one of the most downloaded open source pieces of software out there. And then we monetize the value-added features that we add, that we build and add on top. And we have over and over again seen open source really add tremendous value, change the equation, democratize technologies. And DeepSeek is sort of a great example of what's happening right now in the space.
I want to ask you about a little bit of macro. We seem to be on the verge of an economic slowdown here in the U.S. Also, we've seen the dollar weaken quite a bit. In your guidance, you made it a point to focus on the currency exchange. That basically your guidance is based on the idea that $1 is about $1.04 of euro. It's not 4 cents, I guess, but it's 1.04 euro. We've seen the dollar actually move quite a bit to the downside. How does that impact your business and also demand overseas?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the quarter when we guide, we effectively take a snapshot of what the currency rates look like at that point in time. And if the dollar strengthens, then given that we do some business in international markets, including in Europe as well as in Asia, that becomes a headwind for the market, for the business. And so we kind of try and size that appropriately and give that guidance to the street. Obviously, if the dollar weakens, then that goes in the other direction. We don't see that same headwind, so that's going to be something that we'll benefit from in the quarter. But we fundamentally, when we think about the business, structurally, we think about constant currency. Like in constant currency, how are we doing? We want to make sure that we are constantly growing the business. The opportunity ahead of us is significant. And we believe that we can continue driving operating leverage in the business so we grow both the bottom line and the top line. And currency swings will happen as they happen. They aren't necessarily in our control, but we sort of, account for it and we inform the street about it.
All right, Ash, we got to go, but very quickly, do tariffs impact your business? Just a yes or no?
I don't believe so. I think in the long run, it's all going to work out. In the near term, there's going to be uncertainty, and we'll just manage through that. That's why we're being very careful and very thoughtful about how we see the business performing in the next 2 months. We are in our fiscal fourth quarter, and after that, we'll guide for the next year.